Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint. This episode is sponsored by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty, Strategy Up Business Consultants, and ISS Atlantic Security Guard Services. Enjoy the show. Just talk for a second, guys.
Hello, my name is Kristyn Green, and I'm excited to be here today.
Oh, my Jesus.
Sorry.
Okay. I just
Was
do
that
carrots
a
and
good
peas,
test?
carrots and peas, carrots and peas, carrots and peas.
Okay.
But
You don't-
that works too.
I always, you gotta take the time. Anytime you have the opportunity to improvise your own song, you gotta take it. You gotta take that.
100%.
We did a Christmas song.
You did?
We
Yeah,
did.
you should listen to our Christmas
You
special.
should
We
listen
have
to our Christmas song.
Why would I
Yeah.
listen to it when you're here and you can sing it to me right now?
Not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
no.
We had a guitar and auto-tune.
yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheers!
Cheers!
And welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
And who do you have with us today?
I'm Kristyn Green.
Kristyn Green.
Yeah, so Kristyn. Our paths have somewhat crossed over a little bit of time here, but we haven't
you're
actually
the
met.
most famous person in Halifax, according to the Coast magazine there in 2024.
Yeah.
That was last year. Is that right?
Halifamous. She was nominated for Halifamous Best Actor, but you won gold for comedian.
I did.
Wow.
Do that crazy thing that you
That's
just
awesome.
said.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's one level above us.
It-
We only got silver, so
We got Silver Podcast.
Yeah, but how long have you guys been doing this?
a year.
Well, there you go.
Well,
There you go.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
maybe not a year, maybe
A year and a half.
2.5 years or something. Like
No,
that.
it's a year and a half. We started in.
You gotta count the work beforehand.
We
dude.
started in July. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
count.
there's no way of knowing. I don't
Yeah.
think. There's
Yeah.
no way.
It was always in our
Either
soul.
way, but congratulations on gold. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That
that's
is very
huge.
kind.
Yeah.
It's been. It actually was crazy because it was like that one was one where I literally remember when I started doing stand up in like 2016. And the Coast was coming out, and I remember it being that best comic, and I was just like,
Right.
and I was just like, literally remember this 2016 Kristyn being like, oh my gosh, what if that was you one day? And then I friggin'
And arguably, it's a
it.
good feat. There's a lot more comics in Halifax now than there was even 10 years
Oh my
ago.
gosh,
if you
there's
think
so
about it.
many. And I have
Yeah.
to say, on top of that, is that what means a lot to me is that I haven't really been doing a lot of stand-up, and there are a few reasons for that. But I haven't even been able to explore my comedy like through stand-up in a while. But like
Yeah.
my hosting, which is something I do
Yeah.
now, I like host burlesque and drag shows, and
Yeah, seen that,
I
yeah.
love being like comedic through that. So it just means a lot to me that someone thought best comic and like
Yeah,
thought of
you
me
just
for
did
not
the New
doing
Year's
that.
Eve thing down
Yeah,
there.
I did. Yeah, I did.
That's pretty awesome.
That's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
That was
Yeah.
cool. That was my
Yeah.
second time doing that, and that
Yeah,
was
that's right.
like that's a wild one. Like the way
Yeah.
I explain it to people, or it's like I either host live events or I host television, but that is the one thing where it's like both of them at the same time, and it
Right.
does hurt my brain. Like it is such a weird thing because you're trying to get people like energetic and be like, "Wow, yeah, we're here," but
And
then
it's
you also
cold as
know
shit outside.
it's so effing cold. Like
Yes.
it was so bad. After the first one, last one wasn't as bad as the first one. After
Yeah.
the first one, like I went home and I went right in the tub, like cranked the boiling heat in the tub, had a bottle of champagne. It was just like, anyway. Happy New Year or whatever. But no, it was warmer this year, but it is just like a weird, funny, like someone's in your ear too and talking and telling you to do stuff. And then like,
yes.
so even there was this one part in the show where I went down and I interviewed somebody, this sweetheart, her name was Blair, and she was like in the front row, and I was starting to interview her, and then all of a sudden my mic and the thing in my ear were having a frequency thing, or like being like,
okay.
I don't like interfering. So I'm trying to talk to her and on national live television, and then meanwhile in my ear is just going
Oh my
like,
gosh.
and I have to act like I'm not
Hearing that.
and
Oh.
still be like, oh, and so Blair, what do you think about like? And it was
What
like,
do you think about that noise in my in my ear? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Man, did you see? What is it, Kristyn? What's the comedian there that was that did the New Year's Eve on CNN there this year? She said some wild stuff.
no, you're talking about
Cummings.
Whitney. We're talking about Whitney
Yeah.
Cummings. Whitney's
Oh my
one of my
gosh.
favorite. Like, she's great.
Do you know
Whitney
who
Cummings.
she is?
Right.
Yeah,
No.
she's awesome. She's been comic for like
She's been around for a while.
15, 20 years, easy.
Shit.
Yeah, she had a TV show that kind of flopped. I liked it,
Oh.
but it flopped. But she, like She's a good
She was
comic.
seeing how much she could get away with saying on CNN, and it was crazy.
Oh,
Really?
It was awesome.
Crazy.
And she,
Yeah. So just go listen to that clip if you get a chance.
Yeah,
I will.
just go Whitney Cummings, and like she has all of the stuff posted, like all the things like on there.
Okay.
You definitely need to check it out. She's good. She's coming here.
Yeah.
In August.
No way.
She's coming with Bert Kreischer.
Oh, cool.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fun to
Wild.
see.
Yeah, we also need to get them on the podcast.
I would
Yeah,
love,
we
I would
go-
love to have all those guys on the
you
show.
would
Yeah.
have to.
Oh yeah,
Bert would be fun to have a beer with,
Bert
I imagine.
is one of my favorites.
So speaking
Love
of
him.
beers,
Oh, yeah.
perfect segue.
Perfect segue.
We're at Garrison,
Yeah, we're at the Oxford Tap Room.
Oxford Tap Room.
and I'm doing
Great spot.
this
Good
episode's
friends.
coming out in February, but
Yeah.
February, the first week of February, I believe. But I'm doing a dry January because
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
having I'm trying to get healthy because I'm getting a little chunky around the midsection, and I have hernia surgery next week.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm getting my hernias like. Do you know how that is?
No.
Nah, it's not cool.
It's
so
not?
think of like
Oh.
it's like
He has an alien in his belly.
it's like
He showed
that.
me
Is
his.
it
He
bad?
showed me his.
I'll show you the
ultrasound.
video. I'm actually going to put it up on the Instagram page here. Well, maybe when your video comes out in the same
Yeah.
week, I'll put up my baby.
Okay, I got your thing.
right?
Show your
I was having a
hernia.
lot of fun. I got an ultrasound. They show the little thing moving around like an alien in there. It's crazy.
Wow.
But
He was pregnant.
A hernia is when your gut kind of pops out of your
Oh,
abdominal wall.
no way.
And it comes from like lifting stuff or being generally weak. One of the two. I won't say which one it is.
A little bit of both.
Maybe a little
No
both.
way.
But
Well, thank you for sharing that medical condition that you have. So and
Yeah.
that made me feel comfortable to say I have my first hemorrhoid.
oh wow, yeah, yeah, that's not
Yeah,
fun.
it's not fun. That's how I entered 2025, my very first one.
No
I was
way.
like, what's happening? And
That's
it
like
was
like an aging milestone. It's just like
It's
ding, your
yeah,
first hemorrhoid.
It's, your
Yeah.
first hemorrhoid.
Never had one.
You never had one?
Never? How,
No.
how old are you?
39.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
No, I did, and I came out, and then I was to my husband. I was just like, "So I think that I have my first." And he was like, "Oh God!" And he just like immediately ran and got me some medication and stuff. So that was really nice and super.
Awesome. Preparation H.
Yeah, preparation H. Yeah.
All right. So sorry,
Feel
Sponsor
better.
of the show.
Should we still say we're at Garrison Brewing? So we're at Garrison Brewing. You guys you ordered an interesting
this was
drink.
your idea, your little concoction here.
Thank you so much.
like it.
So, oh my gosh, thank you. So I really like flavorful beers. Like I don't like my husband's like Pilsner only. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like I always love like really hoppy or I love like fruity or like whatever.
Yeah.
So I usually go for IPAs, but I also feel like a full IPA sometimes gets me a little bit too drunk.
Fair enough, right,
And
yeah,
so, but I also feel like a fruit drink sometimes is too fruity. So then I found out if you combine like half of a IPA with half like a fruity kind of a beer,
Yep.
then it makes this like lightly fruity, hoppy, easy drinking.
This is a good
beer.
combination, though.
Thank
So,
you. So
like-
this is the one like I only drink this here when I come to Garrison.
Yeah.
I get half Lil Juicy, half Georgia Peach. If I want to be silly, then I'll do half double IPA,
Oh, the big
like the
juicy.
juicy,
big
and
juicy.
When
then
I
the
ordered
Georgia.
it, they were like, they
Kristen?
knew.
This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camille Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
No, they were like, beer cocktail, and I'm like, beer cocktail. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess that's a thing.
No
yeah,
way.
yeah.
No, now I thought that they were gonna be like Kristen, because now when I've been here a few times, and then they're like, "Oh, you like, oh, I remember this order," and I'm like, "It's really good. You should try it." What do you think?
No, I actually think this is really good. The Georgia Peach matches well with the Juicy.
I love
is-
the Georgia
it
Peach
no, it
beer
actually
they
does
got,
work.
and I like the juicy, so I can't see it
Honestly,
going wrong.
it works. It works. It really does work. Like you can miss it a couple times, right? Like the peach does actually match well with the juicy. If you were to put something else in there, I find that it can be thrown off. Like if you get something that's a little too hoppy and too hoppy in a particular way, where it's like maybe a little bit more bitter or something like that, and you throw some fruit in there, it can really throw it off.
Oh yeah,
Because you'll get like this weird bitterness with some fruit flavor, and it's blah. But the Georgia Peach works well with this.
thank you.
It does. Yeah.
My other
Yeah.
best example is from Good Robot. I'll do half their jalapeno. and half. And this is my best example, actually. Like, you can't just do any IPA. I can't do jalapeno and creature feature because that's like a fruity IPA. That's too much. Yeah. So I have to pick like a bitter IPA to go with that jalapeno. So you're right. There is like more science.
You know what though?
To all this.
I bet you if you got an IPA that has like those nice like pineapple flavors, that would go well with the jalapeno.
Oh my god, that's sick!
Because I'm thinking like, let's see, you know what?
That's so awesome.
I like pizza. I know people get pineapple on pizza, right? But I like pineapple pizza. I like bacon, pineapple, and jalapenos.
Ooh.
So you get salty, sweet, and spicy.
Yeah.
It's like flavor party in your mouth pizza.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a little too overstimulating for me.
Maybe.
But I'm not.
But you're
mad
onto
about it.
something here. These beer cocktail things are pretty cool ideas.
Thank you. And it is like, well, it is not even, because people say beer cocktail is like beer and juice. And it's like, I'm not doing that. I'm just combining beers.
Two beers.
I'm just combining their beers together. And
they also have their, the Garrison, they were doing this for a little while when they had their raspberry and their nut brown. You put them together and it's called the PB&J sandwich.
PB&J, okay. Yeah. That's
wow.
It was so good. And that's actually what I was thinking about because, anyway, I've known of that before. So there's actually a show on Eastlink that I host called Sláinte.
Yeah.
And I was only going to bring it up because it is where... Sláinte, yeah.
How do you say it?
Sláinte.
Like sláinte, like cheers.
It's cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
in Gaelic.
Cool. Yeah.
Sláinte.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, it's weird. And it's spelled like Sláinte. So everybody's like Sláinte, and it's like, no, Sláinte.
Okay, cool.
And anyway, I host this show. It's Snow Dog Productions. My friend Holly is the one who produces it. But anyway, we like go and visit all of these breweries, and I get to interview people about like all these brewers and like all around the province and in PEI and stuff like that.
It's awesome.
It's so awesome. And I actually have asked brewers, like one of my favorite questions is being like, are you okay with people mixing your beer because you have this like idea in mind? Yeah. And then I'm just like kind of fucking with it. And I feel like a lot of the time they're like, no, that's what beer is about. It's about expression. And it's
that's
about,
a good answer, yeah.
And it was such a cool answer. And they're like, no, it's not. We're not trying to gatekeep this recipe or whatever.
No.
Like, you should explore. You should do whatever with it.
So when does that show air? Like, what times of year? And
oh,
such?
my gosh. I wish I knew this answer. That's so embarrassing.
No, that's all right.
I should have known that off the top of my head. We've done, the show itself has done, I think, like 8 seasons now.
Wow, okay.
I've hosted 4 of them. And so our next one, I think it should be coming out in like spring.
Cool.
But that's on Eastlink, and it's so cool. I just literally get to go around to like, even just right now, I'm like, okay, Brewery on Quinns, we went there.
Yep.
Haven't done Garrison yet, unfortunately, but like Propeller, like just all of the breweries and like wineries, and it is amazing. So I got excited when you guys were talking about like that you talk about beer on your show too, because I'm like, I love talking about beer. Like I get really excited.
What's your favorite style of beer? Like, would you say, like, are you a seasonal person, or you kind of stick with like you always have a favorite type of beer?
So great question. I'm usually just like go to IPA all the time. Like always an IPA because I love a really hoppy, like hops are my favorite thing.
Just so you know, he calls that the psychopath of beers.
No way. Why? Why do you say that?
It's also that's
also
the premiers.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's our favorite. It's the premier.
Yeah.
It's his favorite as well.
No way.
Yeah.
It does. I think maybe because not a lot of people can handle it. You know what I mean? Like I have some friends where they're like, oh, IPA, like, oh, I can't. Oh,
right.
No. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I love it. I love something that I want a beer that's gonna punch me in the fucking mouth. Like that.
All right,
is
that's
what,
cool. I like that.
That is what I really like.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay, it's so funny that you say that though, because you're talking about like you want that beer that punches you, and I don't know if you guys are. I know you are. You're a Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan. You a Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan?
I like watched it when it came out, but I haven't really seen it.
Okay, so there's a guy on there early seasons. Guy named Teddy.
Okay.
He dates one of the main characters, and he's a pills guy. So when you said your husband's a pills guy,
oh my god, he's a pills guy.
You know what? It's so funny because it's like, here's the thing. I'm not gonna make fun of your husband because I like cheese.
No, do it. Roast him.
I like pilsners. I do. Like a good Czech pilsner is like, I get real nerdy sometimes. I'm a big beer nerd, right? I was over at Burnside Brewing, and I was like, hey, you guys have a Czech Pilsner. It's like, and I'm like, do you guys have Zotz hops in there? Otherwise, it's not a real Czech Pilsner. And they were like, oh, just a second, we'll look it up. And they're like, oh, yeah, it does have Zotz hops. And I was like, oh, I'll try it then, right? Wow. So I get real nerdy because really good Czech Pilsners are awesome.
Cool.
That being said, they are known for being like crisp, a little more bland.
Yeah.
And so this character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, everything about this guy is boring. Like everything about him, and like eventually, like they don't stay together because it's just kind of like everything he talks about is pilsners all the time, and it's just like it's so. Anyway, when he said like, "Oh, my husband's a pilsner," I immediately went to this guy. It was so funny. You gotta watch the show
promise,
now.
I will.
Yeah.
I promise my husband is not this pills guy. He does have a mohawk and is pretty cool. I promise.
Oh well, okay. Then he's not completely boring. Then
No, he's not completely.
Yeah.
He's not completely.
He's not Teddy.
But also Pilsner. You're right. It's like I don't like the taste of Pilsner, but I really respect Pilsners because Pilsners and those lighter beers are the hardest beers to make because they can't fuck anything up. Like with IPAs, you can mask it. You know what I mean? Like you can and then put in the hops and whatever.
Cool.
So it is like you have so much appreciation for it when it's like really good. And you know what's funny is all that being said. My favorite beer right now is a Pilsner, but hear me out.
No way.
Hear me out. Do you guys like Smokehouse?
Yeah.
Have you had their strawberry Pilsner?
Yes,
No.
I did.
It's
actually
amazing.
There was a Christmas market on North End Halifax. There was a Christmas market, and my wife and son and I stopped at Smokehouse, and we went there and I tried a flight, and I tried their strawberry pilsner. It's good.
It's fantastic, and it's one that we were like drinking in the summer because it was like, oh, strawberry, like that fits. And then, but then it got colder and colder. And it's like, no, I just want to drink this. And now even when we go there, I'm off the IPAs there because I'm so onto this strawberry pilsner. It is so good.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Nothing wrong with that.
I just love beer. I love talking about it.
No. I listen. I could like quite literally talk about beer all the time.
Yeah, you should make a podcast about it.
Yeah. Funny thing about that.
Yeah, we started on beer, but then it kind of went on a tangent, and then like comes back to beer and lands, and then the plane just
we talk about the
goes
guests,
up
and then we talk about beer, and then talk about the guests, and a little bit of that, things like that. But,
Yeah, that's perfect.
So you get to do this awesome show on Eastlink, which talks about beer, but you do a couple things on Eastlink.
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. I also host a show, so Sláinte, I host that.
Yep.
This episode is brought to you by Strategy Up. Strategy Up is a business consulting firm led by Mark Zerka, who has over 20 years' experience in building commercial strategies that will up your game, organize your teams, increase your productivity, and grow your business.
Whether you're a construction company looking to grow your revenue or a busy restaurant owner just trying to keep the doors open, Strategy Up can help. Strategy Up's boutique-style consultations will help you improve business process across nearly any industry.
Being a successful entrepreneur does not mean you have to be an expert in everything. Strategy Up specializes in building a relationship with you. Once pain points in the business are realized, Strategy Up will introduce process and technology that will power up your game to the next level.
A successful business requires investment. Your next step towards growth starts now. Email info@mystrategyup.com for a free business discovery call. Up your game with Strategy Up.
For Snow Dog Productions, which goes to Eastlink. And then I have the show Maritime Inc. And Maritime Inc. I direct it, I write it, I production.
Was that tattoo?
Yeah.
So
cool.
I didn't know you were directing in that.
Yes.
Okay.
I direct it and I write it and I coordinate it and
wow.
I host it.
Holy
And
smokes.
what's wild is like that's actually the show I'm in pre-production for right now, and so it's just like that's why when you were asking my availability and I was like,
okay, gotcha.
oh my god, I have barely any because you're just off with that so much.
No, that's fair. And like I said, like
Yeah,
you know what?
no,
Don't
thank
ever
you.
apologize for making a living, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But
I appreciate
and because I actually, I was kind of like going through the whole creeping thing and everything.
Yeah.
For this episode,
Just for the episode. Just for the episode. Just for the episode, everybody.
just to be clear, no, you know what? Actually, because I wanted to dive down in because you
Yeah.
often talk about 16-year-old you.
Oh, 2016 Kristyn was that was when my life changed forever. Like,
Okay.
And so, literally, even further before that, my whole life I've always been like very entertain. I've always been like an actor and like entertaining, and I've always been like, blah, like you know what I
And
mean.
we should start off that you are from like the middle of nowhere, New Brunswick.
Yes. Oh my God, I am. I'm from Lower Knoxford, New Brunswick. Probably like 90 people live there. But then the closest town to us has like 600 people. And anyway, so it's just like in the middle of nowhere. But at the same time, it's this community that like we were really lucky that we had this incredible like drama teacher, Weldon Matthews, who ended up teaching these other incredible drama teachers like Barb Dingy and like Derek Tracy and like all these people. So like it's a weird little hub where it's in the middle of nowhere, but there have been so many talented people come out of this region. It's like
Weird.
It is weird. And it's like myself, my brother Tommy Green is a huge musician.
Yeah,
like
so
he's
seen that.
is a headliner on
Oh my
cruise
gosh.
ships.
I'm reading the book right now, the Revenge of the Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
So he did the Tipping Point like so many years ago. Now he's doing the Revenge of the Tipping Point.
Okay.
And it's all about small areas and things and the alchemy in those areas that made certain places pop.
Wow.
So when they think that it's just weird.
Yeah.
There's almost always seems to be a hidden kind of alchemy there of what made this town this way and those people are that way.
But the thing is, in these small towns, like all you really need is one person. It's similar to like to sports. You have like the coaching tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the coaching tree of sports. You have one guy who's known as a great coach, and then he coaches his like assistant coaches or coordinators and stuff like that, and they come up, and eventually they get really good at their job, and they leave to go become head coaches somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they look at the coaching tree of like, you know, well, this person who's now like, and then it's like, next thing you know, you look, it's like, wow, 6 head coaches in the NFL all came from this one head coach. And it's like you look at the coaching tree, right? So it can happen very easily in a small town where it takes one person
Right.
who
It's
can inspire 6, 10, 50,
There's so
whatever
many people,
right?
and you know what? Like it's like me, my brother, X, who in my opinion is the best drag performer in the city, is also from my hometown. Sandy Hunter, who's like the producer of 2 shows that I've starred in now. He is from my hometown, and the craziest is that Mike Allison, who's the showrunner of This Hour Has 22 Minutes, is also from my hometown.
Interesting.
Crazy.
And it's like, I'm not even. There's this guy Clem McIntosh who like is like a crazy actor, and it's just like so wild actually, and to the point where now actually we're in talks being like we have to create something all together and in our hometown. Like
That
we
would be
have
cool.
to like, we're kind of talking about it actually.
You should.
I'm not
100%.
sure. I should have asked Sandy before now if I'm allowed to talk about it or not, because actually I realized like we are chatting and we have some stuff, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk.
Stuff is coming, and when it
But
comes,
some
just
stuff
let
is
us know.
coming.
We'll
Oh,
bring
thank
them all
you.
on the show, and we'll do it with
You're
everybody
so
when
sweet.
the
We
announcement comes
appreciate
in.
You
that.
can you
That'd
can
be
you
fun.
can be the you know what, you can be the Tom Holland of the Maritimes. They don't tell
Tom
him
Holland.
anything. Well, yeah, Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's known through like Marvel for the last 10 years or whatever, being Spider-Man and everything. He's known as the guy who reveals things
Right.
By
okay.
accident.
in interviews,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he'll say
Oh,
something,
right.
and he's the guy. He's like, "Oh, I don't think I was supposed to say that."
Yeah.
So now, like, he actually, some of the later ones, they were like, "Yeah, they didn't tell me until like last minute that this was going to happen because they know that I was going to say something."
All right, so you have this hometown, bunch of creatives that are kind of concentrated in this very small area. How did you break out or find
Oh yeah.
your
Okay.
way
Thank
from
you.
that?
Thank you. This is so helpful because it was like I was always in drama and all this shit like that. But then when you graduate high school, it's just like, oh, you go to university. That's what you do.
Yep.
Period. So like I went to university. I got a BA in geography because, and I was just like, and I almost dropped out a couple of times because I was having a rough time. It wasn't who I was, but I kept forcing it and I kept whatever. Anyway, so then I graduated, and then I spent like a year and a half or like 2 years like not knowing what I was doing. I was working as a harbor hopper tour guide in the summers, which was
Cool
sick.
gig.
I did that for like 6 years
That's
actually.
awesome.
I don't
Be
like did
fun.
that for so long.
Yep.
But I was working at a catering company, the Kennard Center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like anyway, and but thank fuck, guys. In 2016, like literally in January, my brother Tommy called me and was like on a Friday. Maybe it was literally to the day because this is Friday. Anyway,
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, what are you doing Sunday?" And I was like, "Nothing. Why?" And he was like, "I just booked you on a stand-up comedy show, and you have to rate 5 minutes." And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh fuck, okay."
How did
Anyway,
that go?
pretty well actually.
It went good the
did go
first
well.
time?
It did go well
That's
my first
awesome.
time. I do have a theory. Everybody who ever does stand up for the very first time, their first time will always do well.
First time is okay.
First time is
first time
always
okay.
good.
Yeah, right.
First time is
Yeah.
always good because you have.
It was the
this, like,
third time for me.
charm.
It was actually. Did you say
Really?
Mount St. Allison University?
I'm from Mount Allison. Yeah, I went to Mount Allison.
Okay, that was the first place I bombed. I think.
No way.
No.
Shut up.
It was there or fuck.
I don't know. My brain. Matt knows this about me. I don't know the names of places or things. I just kind of flow through life.
If it's a noun, he forgets it.
I went to this university and I had a joke where I was making fun of myself, but it offended people, and it wasn't a bad. So I'm not going to retell the joke. It wasn't that funny, but anyways, that was the first time I massively bombed like crickets. It hurt.
And that was your third time.
That was my third time.
I'm not even joking you. This is my thing. I go, first time you will always do great.
Yeah.
Your second time you will not do well. Your third time you are the worst. And then the fourth time you are okay again.
Right.
And then it takes you a long fucking time.
Stop at 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop at 1.
Stop at 1. Yeah.
Stop at 1.
Yeah.
Because
I think too is like all those things about you. Like they're laughing at the nervousness and the awkwardness and shit. Probably the first time, right? Like my hands were shaking.
You have a charm to you,
and like inability to remember things. I was reading my jokes off the paper, so the dryness of the jokes and the
probably
trembling
feels like an
hands
act.
and. Yeah, it probably seems like it was a little staged.
It's even just like the first time you deliver a joke is the best time because it sounds the most natural.
It's then when you get confident with that terrible joke, you're like, that's terrible. That's a shitty joke. Why are you telling everybody that?
Yeah, exactly. And you can easily just, if you sound rehearsed at all, people just like don't sound believable. I
think, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I honestly think that people don't realize how hard stand-up comedy is.
Oh my God.
It's they think like, you can hang out with your buddies and you can sit there and you can make jokes and you can like, kind of feed off each other and everyone's sitting there laughing and all that stuff. But that doesn't translate on the stage.
No,
right?
Oh my God! There's so many people who are like, and let's say it, they're all like young white boys actually, and they're all like, I could just stand up. Yeah, I have this really funny joke about. I could just stand up. I have a funny story about this time when I got drunk, and then and you're like, okay, like it's funny when you say it to your friends,
right?
Because you all like think that that's funny, but nobody else is gonna find that funny,
right?
That sucks. Anyway. So we started doing stand-up, and then from that I was like, oh shit, okay, I gotta like maybe I am more of a performer. So then from that I moved to Toronto and I went to Second City to like learn about like improv and writing and acting and sketch writing and stuff like that. And then from that I was like, holy shit, because I was trying to be a comedian for a while.
Did you do something with Neptune last year or theater? I saw you do some theater piece.
Last year, I hosted the. I did two things.
You did Fringe.
I hosted the very first burlesque festival.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah.
That was like actually probably my favorite gig of the whole year. That was a huge, that was a big thing. And then I did the Fringe Festival, with my friend Greg Puncher. We made this show called Butt Suckers.
What the hell is Butt Suckers about? I saw the poster, but I have no idea what it's about. I didn't go any further. What was the Butt Suckers about?
I have to say, it was all Greg's idea. Okay. Greg came to me. And he was like, look, Kristyn, I have this idea for for a play. And essentially it's like, it's a breakup and it's really tense and you don't know why people are breaking up and all this stuff. And then it kind of teases about maybe you think it's butt stuff and like it's teasing like that and all this stuff and all this stuff and it's sad and it has heartbreak. But then at the very end, it's revealed that we are breaking up because he wants to use toilets. Toilets are the new thing, and toilets, and he thinks that butt suckers are bad for you. And I say, babe, we've always used butt suckers. Why, if they're bad for us, why would our own government be endorsing butt suckers?
Is awesome.
Why would we? Like, this is what it is. And then he's like, what have I been telling you? Follow the money. It's all big too. and I'm like, I find that hard to believe. That's conspiracy theory. And we go back and forth. And he's like, look at the evidence. And then this is so funny because he's like,
I'm actually sad I missed
it was crazy. It was wild. And then like at the end, he's like, look at the evidence, your own evidence. How many hemorrhoid creams have you gone through in the last month? And I'm like, I don't know what that has to do with anything, which is hilarious because now I'm having my first hemorrhoid. And I was writing about it without knowing anything about it. And at the very end, it's so I'm like, he's like, oh, these new toilets are the best thing. It's gonna get recycled, and I'm like, then what? And he's like, then it gets treated, and then it goes back into our water system. And then I'm like, so then I'm drinking my own fucking shit? Like, what the hell? Like, and so it's this huge allegory for like climate change and like, but essentially like us only sticking with the way that things were, and even based on our own scientific evidence, we won't change. And at the end, it's like, even if you love somebody so much, but you are gonna not, you love this is your soulmate, but you cannot agree on this very moral issue, and therefore you cannot be together.
Wow.
And it was like, it was fucking wild.
That's some deep stuff about toilets, man.
Well, it was so wild because it was all his idea.
Straight up our alley.
It was all his idea, and I was like, okay,
I love it.
Okay, and then I wrote it. He went away for Future Forest, and then he came back, and I had actually
So he
just
had
written
the
it,
idea, and he took off, and you wrote the thing.
and I wrote it.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then he wrote like
you're giving him too much credit then.
No.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to come up with ideas. Hey, Tobin, think of this.
Yeah.
Go and write it for
Yeah.
me.
Could you? Sorry, who could have come up with that idea? Though, okay,
Fair
you know
enough.
what I
All
mean?
right,
Like,
fair
I
enough.
would
It was a
never
great
have.
idea.
It was
is a great
wild.
idea.
It
Does
was
he smoke
absolutely
marijuana by
wild.
chance?
Yeah. We both do a lot of
That's a good source for those types of ideas for sure.
But it was wild. It was so fun. And then it was his idea at the very end. We then like faked this like infomercial from the 60s being like, turn on your butt sucker, the butt sucker 3000. And then like we like made this thing. It was crazy. It was one of my favorite things I did of the year. And we won best of venue venue for that.
That's
show.
amazing.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Actually crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. But everybody's like, and my parents, I think, were just like, butt suckers? Like, Kristyn, come on. And I was like a little nervous because I made community television. I was a bit nervous.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's good for you to take those risks in a sense, right? I love it. I just think it's, community television is fantastic, but you got to keep pushing yourself, right?
And I feel like, that's such a good point because it's like the point of art is like sometimes it does have to be kind of in your face, and because it would be so easy for you to see that and be like, oh, Kristyn, why would you're making a bet? And it's
we
like,
struggled that with this.
I
big
bet.
Big time.
I bet people
Where it's
are
like, we have like,
you make a silly beer thing,
we
like, you know what I mean?
we want to go even further than that sometimes, but it's like we've been friends for 20 years, so it's like,
So we have dark humor.
We have some dark humor.
Right.
Back
We
and
bounce
forth.
everything off each other and everything, and we, there's some safe space jokes that happens and everything, right? But it's one of those things where it's like we come up with some ideas, and then I'm like, I put my little hat on of like, how's that going to affect our brand? Are people not
Or
going to
careers.
think us?
We got
Careers.
jobs, full-time jobs too, right? Like,
So it's like, how is that going to affect our careers? How's that going to affect our brand? Are people not going to take us seriously anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
But we have some things that we want to do that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
So, one thing we do is we did this today. We saw some friends, and we just keep talking about the ideas that are risky that we want to do. And if they get tremendous laughs,
then you're like,
that shit's worth it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Let's take a risk, right? Because if they don't, then, sometimes I know that I'll think something's super fucking funny, and I'll just think it's the greatest thing in the world. And it's crickets,
Yeah,
right?
and you know
like
what?
my family, my friends, like everyone's like, Tobin, there is nothing funny about that. And I'll be like,
There is something funny that we have. We'll talk about that offline. But we were talking about you today to our friends. When we
Oh
had
my
lunch.
gosh.
Yeah.
We have an idea that the three of us we want to do. We'll talk about it afterwards, though.
yeah,
Oh, why?
100%.
Oh, okay. Is it
100%.
bad?
We're not giving. No, we're not giving
No.
the idea away.
Oh,
'Cause it's fun.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear. Okay,
Which one was?
cool.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
we had
Yeah.
brainstorming sessions today, right?
We had a brainstorm
So,
session, and we thought you'd be the good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
yeah,
I'm so intrigued.
cool.
Yes.
I'm
We'll
the
talk
person
about
that I'm the person you're gonna give $500 to. Wow, that's amazing.
That's right. Yeah.
How about a cool 5?
So dumb.
Just
So-
pressed.
So okay, so you start in your stand-up comedy, but then like you did like you did your comedy and hosting and stuff like that, like on cruise ships.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was like I was in Toronto at Second City,
Yeah.
and then I was trying to be a comic for a while that I didn't have any money. And
Yeah, funny
it was
thing how that
like,
works,
yeah,
right?
it's hilarious as being an artist. So then my brother, because he's been working on cruise ships forever, as a musician, he was like, yo, go and do this thing. There's this job where you can be an activities host and you can
Right.
host trivia and karaoke and games and whatever, and it's fun. You get to see the world. And so I did it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was actually sick. My ship was out of Australia, so I got to see Australia and all of New Zealand.
Wow.
Which was insane. And then I got to, you literally do, like every day I host at least 5 things
Wow.
a day. And
That's a lot.
is different. I will do like a morning like Zumba class and then like and then a napkin folding cooking class, and then a trivia, and then a karaoke, and then a game show. And it's just like, and you don't get a day off when you work on cruise ships. So it was like doing that every single day for 6 months.
Really?
And that was how I learned to be a host.
So
that's the best school
work
ever.
every day
Period.
for 6 months.
Straight, yeah. And this is the reason, like, so it's so weird because I say this now, like, so I actually give a hosting workshop now because
I
this
saw
is,
that. Yeah,
thank you, because this is my like first job. My day job is being a host.
Yeah.
And so I say, like, if you want to be a host, going on cruise ships is the best. Like, there's nowhere else. You could try to hustle in the city. You're gonna, even hustling, maybe you'll host one thing a week.
Right.
We just don't have that.
Right.
Like, going on a cruise ship, you will get that because you don't have a day off. That being said, and you get to travel the world. That being said, it also, for me, really fucked me up. It was like a microcosm of the world's problems onto one thing, onto one little ship. So there's classes among the crew. There's classes among guests.
Right.
There are
Crazy.
there's racism. There's everything. There's
No, you don't. I
like,
never think of it that way, but yeah,
there's so
makes
much
sense.
homophobia.
Yeah.
Even like there's
Yeah,
still
you
like,
think it's like a paradise on the water, but
in the crew, like, it's fucked.
Right.
And the worst is like, for me, it was like, oh, I'm this little white girl from Canada that I'm just doing this for fun. And my contract is 7 months. I left early because I had a medical condition, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right.
My contract's 7 months. I get paid so much money, and it's fun and whatever. And then there's all the other people who are there working as stewardesses and like all these places that are from like India and China and Philippines and are there because they have to be there to send money home to their families. And their contracts are longer than mine. Their shifts per day are longer than mine. Their contract is longer than mine, and they get paid less than me.
right.
And it's like,
Just
so
'cause they
you
can.
have, because they can.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
you have these people, and then you have all the like white, like privileged, like dancers who like are so entitled and get days off and like get and are like, I'm a dancer, so I get the privilege. Anyway, so it all still fucked me up. Like I like it is like a catch-22 of. I needed it to be where I am today, and if you want to do it, it is the best. It is the best way to learn.
Would you say it's more of like a young person's game though?
Kind of.
You can't really go and like, I mean, like, I'm 39, I have a family. It's not like I can go on a cruise. And,
No, you couldn't.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
exactly. It is like you'd have to have no ties, and you need to have like no other job. Like you have to go and do that for 7 months. It is a young person's game, I think. Like just because you don't have as much, if you don't have as much responsibilities in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you are like 40 and have no responsibility and want to do that,
Good
go
job
fucking
if you
go
just
for
got
it.
divorced there. Like, get the frig on a boat and go live life for a minute.
You get to go. You get to go
100%.
travel and see the world, and like that was.
There you go. Okay, there you go. It's anyone
Sorry,
getting divorced, you're...
Yeah.
we
go.
got the perfect recommendation for you.
Yeah, we have the... go for it.
Unfortunately, you might have to be white by the sound of it. Yeah. That's a terrible part of that. But otherwise than that, it sounds okay.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other thing that you've been hosting, though, is this is where we actually almost crossed paths. I did cross paths, but I missed you. I was like, I recognize you, and as you walk by, and I was like, man, I hope she doesn't think I was just like staring at her, but I was like, she looks so familiar, and it was like afterwards.
I just want to go back to the part. He's like, I researched it a lot.
I know.
Staring
But
at
I
you
was,
that time.
because I was, and you walked by, and I was like,
It was for the episode.
I was
okay?
like, no. At this time, it was just like, why does that person look so familiar? And then I was like, I went
we
home.
both spotted you on
The escalator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
At Halcon.
crazy.
At Halcon.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, that's because we are on Instagram and everything
Right.
together, right?
Right.
And I was like, that's it. That's where I've seen her. That's who it was. And because I saw you were, I think it was a comment you made to Tanner, about Halcon. So Halcon, is this a hosting gig or is this a passion gig?
Thank you for asking. It's a bit of both.
Because I know you're into cosplay a little bit.
Because I was gonna say it's a bit of both because I actually how that came about is because when COVID happened, and then things were opening back up. I saw this announcement that was like Halcon specifically was only going to be able to be open at half capacity, and So when I heard that, I was like, that sucks. You know, there are half the people who have always gone and who now just can't go.
That's right.
And so I am lucky enough that I know a couple, like I have a really good film co-op. So like I had a couple friends like Chelsea Camo and Noah Brown. And anyway, we went out and I made a Halcon special where I went out and interviewed people. And it was kind of like, if you miss this, you get to watch this. And it's on YouTube. It's just like Halcon 2021 or whatever. And so I made this. I gave it to Eastlink and they put it on.
Cool.
But then from that, they got to know me, and then so they reached out to me, and they were like, "Hey, we need another moderator," and your name came to mind because of all this. And so this was my first year that they asked me to moderate, which was so cool and fun. But especially because I am a big like nerd and kind of geek. Like I used to really like doing like Star Trek.
I saw that.
Stuff. And like I like I'm kind of a geek and.
Seems more like a Deep Space Nine. All the things I saw were Deep Space Nine.
Really? Okay, so that's Deep Space Nine. I've come to say is my favorite Star Trek, but it's like I really appreciate the sci-fi community.
Yeah.
I am not as versed in everything as everybody else is, and that's why I'm like, it is such a passion.
I felt a little out of my league there
because
it was like they were
they just know things, and I'm like,
can I fit in anywhere for Christ's sakes? I can't even fit in with the nerds. I'm like, I like that movie, and they're like, you don't know nothing about this film.
I went there thinking like, you know, I like Marvel, superheroes, DC, I like some things, and I go in there and I was like, like, you know, my wife thinks I'm like a huge geek when it comes to that stuff because I'm like watching movies. I'm like, well, that's not really happens in the comics and everything, right? Yeah. And she's like, okay, geek, and then I go there and I'm like, oh my God! Oh yeah, this is crazy.
Humbled.
I'm like the biggest loser here because I'm the one who doesn't know anything.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, and so that's the only reason where I'm like, it is a passion of mine, but I do feel a bit like a imposter when I'm there.
Yeah, fair.
A little bit because I'm like I'm such a nerd and geek, but probably only about Star Trek. Like Star Trek is my ride or die. I could talk about Star Trek for goddamn ever, and now I'm nervous that we're on the subject. You will not get me off of it, but I love Star Trek so much.
That's okay. Moving on.
Okay.
Because we're not Trekkies. Like,
not at all.
No, barely.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I want to talk. Oh my God, I gotta get you on it.
So microwaves came from Star Trek, right?
You know what? I didn't really like. Deep Space Nine was one that I liked. Yeah, and I liked Voyager. Mostly like 7 and 9, but mostly like 7 and 9 on Voyager. But Deep Space Nine was probably my favorite.
No way, because that's one that gets all the shit. People love shitting on DS9 because they're like, oh, that's not real Star Trek because they're just like, they call it like a fucking Western because they're like, oh, they're just at a station and they don't go anywhere. And it's like, first of all, that's what makes it so fun.
They go to another dimension or another quadrant.
Literally, and I'm like, that's what makes it so fun. It's not all like morals with them, like which is what I love about Star Trek. But like in Deep Space Nine, they like get drunk and shit. Like
that's true. They have a bar.
And they have a bar, and they get to like it's
Cisco's,
fun.
I'm sorry.
It's
you know
silly.
What? You know what? Come for me, Trekkies. Come for me.
Yeah.
Cisco's the best captain.
Oh, really?
Easily.
Cisco
from Thong Song? Just joking. That's like Cisco that came to my head. I'm like, he's a Star Trek.
Yeah,
he got
Cisco
dumped like a truck. That'd be dope. That'd be the best thing to see in the world.
No, but like, you know what?
So
the thing that sold me on that is I really liked the whole like Jadar War and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like I thought that was pretty cool.
The Dominion War and all that is fascinating.
Yeah.
I just what I love about it, like especially Deep Space Nine, is that they had the first same-sex kiss on television. Okay. And like Dax's character is like very transcoded. Like
because she's a parasite.
Yeah.
So she can be male or
and
female.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
And there's like that. Well, it's like she's been so many like the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Has gone through. And so there's like that classic meme where it's like even Klingons are not transphobic. Or like whatever, because there's the meme of being like, oh, Curzon, my old friend. And then she's like, I'm Jadzia now.
Did you ever watch The Orville, that one Seth MacFarlane did?
I watched like a little bit of it, but I didn't.
That was so good.
Really?
It got so good.
No way.
So if you're a Trekkie, I'm telling you,
gotta
give
it a chance. It gets
no way. I know he's so smart. Like he knows Star Trek.
Well, he dropped his comedy, like he was doing that slapstick kind of Family Guy thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he drops it.
But he drops it about 3 or 4 episodes in, and it starts becoming some very serious undertones.
I
And-
find each
I only saw
season it
one,
gets
I
more
think.
serious.
Yeah, each
Like
season.
season 3, you feel like you're just actually just watching a version of Star Trek.
What?
But
Yeah.
like a little bit funny.
with a
No
with a
way.
little bit more humor, right?
Yeah.
Shut up.
But like he gets into some great social issues in that.
He does.
He does a
Yep.
great job.
No,
of it.
it's awesome.
He
No way.
I mean, there were episodes of that show that I was like, I felt emotional watching. I was like, holy
Really?
shit, that
No,
was
no.
that was heavy.
There's a couple
Like,
heavy
you know,
ones. You were
yeah.
the one who got me on that show. You were like saying, "Hey, man, you got to try it." And I was like, I remember seeing it on Netflix, and I was kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm not really a Trekkie. Outside of like really Deep Space Nine kind of thing, I was like, I'm not really a Trekkie. I was like, I don't know. And you're
Yeah.
like, give it a try. And I watched the first episode. I was like, okay, this is fucking funny.
Yeah. I think I watched the first episode, and then
Yeah.
I don't know why I fell off of it.
Jeez,
but-
if you get, I think it's about 4 or 5, all of a sudden it just changes. You're like, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is so smart. I
Brilliant
do
guy.
really respect him a
Yeah.
lot. Like
Yeah.
I think he's very funny. And my husband and I actually were just anyway in a bad mood and put on like A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh, yeah.
And I did laugh my goddamn head off.
Yeah.
Like we
That
both
was
did.
good.
That was
Not
a funny
bad.
movie. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy.
No, I agree. It's,
Yeah.
it's good. So, I mean, back to like TV shows and things like that, because you are now a lead in 2 TV
That's
shows.
correct.
So, like, you host 2 TV shows, and you're leading in 2 TV shows.
That's correct.
That's busy.
It is pretty busy.
It's pretty good, honestly, though. Like,
Thank
that's,
you.
Like, to make a living in
Yeah.
the film industry and stuff like that is
In
it's
Nova
hard.
Scotia.
In Nova Scotia,
Oh my
right?
God,
In
it's
Nova
wild.
Scotia.
It's very
Yeah,
hard.
it's impossible.
It's very
almost.
hard. You know what I will say?
Yeah.
I will say to that 2 things. One being that for me to like do this full time, I have to supplement my income with doing like production coordination
Of course.
and directing and writing. So it is like, I feel like a lot of people, it'd be easy to see me and be like, oh, she's just the talent and
Right.
that's how she's making all of her money. Where it's like, I want to be like, no, I have to
You're
do all
doing
that
the
shit
work
too.
so you can be the talent.
Exactly,
That's
and that is what I
crazy.
teach people. Is
Wicked
like
point.
most of the
Yeah, that's
time
a good point.
to get gigs, you do have to make them yourself. And actually, my best example is
Jesus.
Halcon.
That's a great line.
That you
Thank
gotta
you.
save that for the end of the show.
Really?
We ask for the
That's-
best advice because that's really good
That
advice.
is
That's good advice.
my.
Really good
that's
advice.
from direct from my hosting workshop. Actually,
All right.
Well, we're getting a sample.
Yeah, we're gonna get
I'm
it
gonna
again.
sample.
Yeah.
Because you do. That's how I got Halcon. Like,
Yeah.
you could. People are like, oh wow, you moderated Halcon, and it's like, well, actually, 2 years before then, I produced my own special.
Well,
that
everything
I-
you guys
Yeah.
created from your
You know what I
little
mean?
New Brunswick crew there
Yeah.
was from nothing.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Like,
And people don't understand. Like, that's where everything comes from that's creative, like truly creative and different. It comes from nothing.
Yeah,
Like, you
oh my
know,
gosh.
this show came from nothing.
yeah.
2 longtime friends want to do a podcast together. Excuse me,
Right.
I always have a beer.
You gotta do it.
We
Like,
just
gotta do
started, manifesting it,
Yeah, but-
putting it on our vision wall,
which sucks, but it's so true. You have to like if you're
and
like
using the power of magic and light bulbs. No,
Yes.
but there is no alchemy other than just doing the work. Is like
you
you
just
just
gotta
said.
fucking
Yeah.
put in like
No, I love it.
You gotta do it if you want it. If you want it, then you gotta make it first,
Yeah.
and then people. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's not. But then those that doesn't really apply to these TV shows because I will say like Sandy Hunter, the producer of that, has been like he actually came to me to audition for the first one, which
So
was really nice.
it's Car Wash Wars and the O'Dons.
Yeah, so what happened was O'Donn's was the first one, and O'Donn's was, so Sandy Hunter, because he knew me from home, asked me to audition for this show, O'Donn's, and then I got it, and I didn't know it was the lead until when you
Yeah,
get
you
the
said
call
that.
sheet, when you get a call sheet, which is like, for viewers, if you don't know what a call sheet is, it's like the information that you get about the schedule and stuff like that, and every actor or character has a number associated with them, and so like, and it is usually based on how many lines they have or their importance to the whatever or anything
Right.
like that. But anyway, so it was literally like a couple days before we started shooting O'Donn's that I got the call sheet and realized that I was number 1 on the call sheet, and that blew my goddamn mind. I will say that because I fucking didn't know, and that was crazy.
Nice.
So that was that show, and then from that show though, I met Steven Sintries, who created this show Car Wash Wars, and we were like, so we worked together so well in O'Donn's that he actually asked me to help write Car Wash Wars. Okay. So I was there for like the preliminary creation of the storylines and stuff like that. I wrote an episode with him, but it got cut.
I thought about this literally today, like looking at what you were doing on Eastlink and what you've been doing with Bell and these community channels. And when you went on the trailer for the Dons, which I checked out, like the first comments, like, I wish I could watch this streaming. Like, they should totally do this.
I know,
right?
I know.
And find some sort of way to make a $4.99 thing that throws all your stuff up there so they can still get money back to the community television, make it bigger, stronger. Like, that all came to me, because I'm the same way. I mean, in the younger generation, unfortunately, it's just going to be more and more cable cut.
I know.
Right?
And it is like, because their solution right now is like apparently, I just found out Eastlink has one through a different whatever. But Bell has one, but you do have to be the cable, like a cable,
you have to have a cable
subscriber
package to watch
to
it.
Then do that. Right. But it is like, you're right. Like,
same as a lot of the Eastlink stuff.
And it's like, I hope that they figure out a little workaround to just be like, just let me on the app and that's it. Because it is like, it's so sick. But that was how I met. And then I got to do Car Wash Wars, which was really fun. And then I'm actually filming season 2 of O'Donnell's at the end of this month. And that's also why, again, I'm so busy because I'm going. That's in Miramichi at the end of this month, which is crazy. Yeah. I don't know if I'm the lead of it this season. I'm going to have to find out because.
So, is that show out yet?
I don't know. Pardon me?
Is that show out yet?
Yes, O'Donnell's came out last year.
No, not O'Donnell's.
Oh, sorry,
the Car Wash Wars one.
It's coming out soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Very soon.
Yeah, okay.
Very soon.
Cool.
And that one's just so weird. Like, the idea with that...
I just think of the title and I can think of lots of things.
I looked at the synopsis. It's like an AI automated wash that the old car wash guys go to war with, kind of thing, that's across the street that can compete with them.
That was like the preliminary, like, for the pitch, I think. Like, it's the official poster hasn't come out yet. But essentially, it's like, do you guys know... Where are you guys from?
From here.
You're from here? Okay.
Yeah.
St. John, New Brunswick. Have you been there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but St. John, New Brunswick, it is only there that they have manual car washes. And what I do not mean that you go and pull into a place and then you wash the car yourself.
No, you got dudes come and wash your car.
But this guy comes and just washes your car.
That's really popular in America.
It is.
What?
Popular.
Yeah. I haven't seen this anywhere. Like, nobody I've heard of. Like, nobody's heard it.
Have you ever seen the Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre movie, The Wash?
Yeah.
No.
You've seen it? Oh.
Yeah.
This is what this is.
It's like a whole movie about those two dudes working at a car wash like that, where they're kind of going in the vehicles and getting into shenanigans.
My mind. I was like, and then I was like, my cousins are from there, and then we were like at my grandmother's funeral in the summer, and I was like telling everybody, being like, this is the show, and everybody else was being like, that's so fucking weird, and then my cousins from St. John were like, yeah, don't you know this? This is normal.
Well,
and I was like,
California will get it.
I guess so.
So this is what I'm thinking now. What it is like on one side of the street you have like a bunch of women in bikinis doing car washes. The other side you have like you and I with our shirts off, rubbing our bellies against the windows.
Oh, don't use that joke yet.
And you are of course more successful. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Dad bods car wash.
Dad bods car wash.
We kill it.
And have a pint.
Exactly. Yeah. We drink beer while washing your car.
We wash your cars with beer. Would you like stout service?
But Pilsners. No, Pilsners.
Yeah,
Pilsners.
Pilsners.
Only thing that's worth washing your car.
Yeah.
So you also like open yourself up for conferences and boring things like that.
Oh yeah,
right? So, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, you say. You know what? It's funny you say that. No. I love that you say that because I do find obviously conferences are boring, and what I love is I try to make them as least boring as possible, and so I've been trying.
James Mullinger is a comic that's went across the country doing that and making. I mean, it's a really hard gig for a comedian in a conference, and he does a tremendous job of it.
It's hard.
But he combines like motivation and comedy, I think, and he does a good job of that.
And sometimes it is just like, God, I need somebody who's just like, okay, like you just energy, like the energy. I'm so tired of going to places and they're like, okay, and this is what about it, and here we go. And you're like, do you think anybody's gonna pay attention to you? Like, right. I need the loud, I need the physical comedy, I need everything. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, I as someone who's been in a corporate world in an industry that is kind of deemed a little boring in insurance.
Okay.
I've gone to conferences and I've gone to week-long conferences.
Yeah.
And those week-long conferences are always, it's like you immediately leave the conference room and they welcome you with like alcohol because it's like, sorry, we made you go through this.
Yeah, I bet. Yes.
Here's booze to make it better.
Yes.
So it's true. So like things can be like, and some of them I listen to, and some of them, you have great speakers, and you remember those people forever.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that was really great. That was like awesome. And then you have ones where it's just kind of like, when's this over? Can I keep texting?
God.
I'm gonna answer work emails instead of listening to you.
Yes. That's how bad it is. I'm gonna do work instead of listen to you. Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
awful.
if you can make it a little bit more fun. But how do you? Like, when you go into something like that, do you do some research on, like, the business that you're going to be talking or, like, hosting or anything at all?
That's a great question. So I haven't, the ones I've done so far, I did a Supernova conference, and
we had Jacqueline on here.
You did?
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
She's pretty awesome.
She's awesome.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, like, I actually haven't had to do like a bank one yet. I have like put it out there. Like I technically own like a hosting production company kind of a thing. Like it's an entertainment company, I think. Because anyway, and so like I'm open to it. I haven't done one yet, which is good, but I love. Sorry, what was the question?
Just
Oh my
if
God.
you've done any research. So the answer is no.
Oh yeah, the answer.
The answer is no.
If I
But
have to do
if you ever do,
research.
because like, do you make jokes about banking?
I'm going to have to end this. The two of you guys are going to talk all night. You guys,
know.
The long.
We get
Whoa,
the
oh my
long
God.
answer.
Yeah.
I know. I get excited.
Here's the producer.
Rein you guys in with some questions. So I
You know what? Let's
think
do
it's
this.
time to do it. So
Let's do some 10 questions.
So we always play this game at the end of our show, and this might not be the end of the show. Our show might go on for another hour. This is 10
Crazy,
questions so
okay.
long, or 2 minutes.
Okay. There's no way of knowing.
There's no way of knowing.
Never know.
You
So
never know.
here.
Okay, hit me.
Okay.
But wait, if I want to say no, I'm supposed to have a sip?
That's right. We told you the rules, right? So if you don't want to answer the question, you can have a
Your
sip.
beer's empty.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what I should do.
It's packed here at Garrison right now, so I'm
It's
not sure if
packed.
we're gonna.
I'm also okay. I don't need
yeah.
one. If I can,
Are you okay?
I don't need one. I was just curious.
Matt
what's
has
happening.
some hard drugs in his left
Yeah.
pocket. He'll give you to take
I
one
do
of his
have.
pills.
I do have 2 joints in my pocket.
There you go.
Like, no.
Just walk out the back door.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll go number 1, Matt.
All right.
All right. In O'Donnell's, you play Zoe.
Yeah.
A bartender at an Irish pub that's been purchased by a narcissist. What do you think is one good skill to have when dealing with narcissistic personality types?
Oh my God, that's a great question. You know what? I think it's with narcissists. You can't be like, you can't give them anything. You also can't take anything away from them because then they'll also be shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually think that you're just pleasant. Just okay. Don't compliment them. Don't put them down. Neutral.
Oh, all right.
Expert answer.
Thank you.
Expert.
My mother was a guidance counselor.
Oh, there you go. So question number 2. If you woke up and teleported 100 years in the past, but had none of your modern technology or fashion, how would you convince them that you were from the future?
Whoa! How would I convince them that I'm from the future? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to be like, I could say bad stuff, but they wouldn't believe that. Good stuff, maybe they wouldn't believe. My immediate was like, I have bleached hair. I don't think they had bleached hair 100 years ago.
There you go.
Okay, bleached hair and tattoos.
Yeah.
Bleach hair
there
and
you go,
tattoos. There you go.
So just do the little finger trick.
Yeah.
Trick them all.
Or
Don't do that. They'll burn you at the stake.
Or that I have armpit hair.
There you go. Armpit
Because I
hair.
don't think women were allowed. I don't think women were.
I think they more likely would have had
You
armpit hair
think?
100 years ago.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, because they didn't have all the.
because they had to hide
Maybe.
They
most
didn't
of the
have
shit
the
back then
stuff. Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
probably, right?
No, you're right.
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know.
Bleach hair.
Yeah.
Tattoos.
Okay.
Question number 3. Go ahead.
All right. Do you have any superstitious beliefs that may have guided your life or well-being at some point? So any superstitious beliefs like Burton?
I genuinely, my only superstitious belief that I truly believe in is I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I hate that sometimes, but it has helped me so much. And I truly, because it's crazy, there are times that where like things don't work out and you're so frustrated, and then later when you look back on it, you're like, wait, no, that actually was, but this was, and so I think it is like the universe, whatever's supposed to happen will happen, and I've taken a lot of, it's helped me a lot.
You're getting all the points here, so
Thank
good job.
you.
Yeah,
Really?
No problem. Go ahead, buddy.
Question number 4. Would you rather lose your hearing or your vision?
Oh, fuck.
Or one eye and half your voice.
Okay, you're right. I cannot lose my voice. That would be bad. You know what? Maybe my hearing. I would have a very hard time not being able to see.
Yeah?
Yeah. I would say that.
I think I agree with that. I've gone back and forth on this question.
Really?
Often,
Yeah.
But honestly, like you can still drive.
I can't
your
really
car.
see that good now, so I'm just
Yeah,
going to
you can
let them
still
go.
drive your car.
Yeah.
Like, you can
Yeah,
get
that's true.
places. Like you can still
Yeah.
read lips.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
Exactly, I think, and
Yeah.
I feel like I in the past like learned sign language a little bit, and I'm like I feel like that would be easier for me than being
Yeah.
like
it's a lot
hearing
easier.
things
Yeah.
and then not knowing
At
where
this
that
point,
was
losing
coming
your hearing
from.
too, you could probably still conceptualize music somehow.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Like mentally.
Yeah,
If you lost your hearing, yes. If you never had your hearing, no.
No, right.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, good point.
Okay.
That's what I'm picking.
We've already covered this. Favorite beer type?
IPA.
All right.
That was easy. Number 6. If your life was a movie, what would you call it?
Fuck.
With 3 exclamation marks. Maybe with a question mark at the end.
Okay. So we touched for a second on your 16-year-old self. What do
Yeah.
you think your 80-year-old self will be like?
Oh wow. I genuinely think she's gonna be dead. I do think
grim.
I just think
Can
that
we just roll the number back to 60? Like,
Okay,
see
yeah.
yourself as an older person, right? Like
60's better than, because I was like,
A
I
little
just
wiser.
think I'm going to be dead by 80. Just
Yeah.
the way I live, and I live loud, I don't think I'm going to make it.
Okay.
I'm going to make it that way.
Cool.
60, I think that I'm going to be still pretty, I think I'm going to actually be the exact same as I am right now.
that's perfect.
I think I'm still going to be loud and zany. And if anything, knowing that I'm old and can get away with it, I'm actually probably going to be more obnoxious. and
You'll be
loud.
worse.
Yeah, I will be
that's
worse,
true.
actually. I will be a lot worse.
Okay.
That's true. That's
I'll be
legit.
worse.
Number 8. So, yes, I love this. This is a Tobin question for sure. Who should really win in a fight between Godzilla and King Kong?
Emphasize on the really.
Oh, thank you so much for asking this, because I do really respect King Kong. I really do.
But he's
I
a
have
bitch.
such there's something where I'm just like, no, Godzilla is king of the monsters.
He has laser eyes.
Like literally,
Like-
and he's like fought and just he's just like, like
He's made out of armor.
Yeah, he's amazing, and I literally actually
All
I
Yeah.
actually just love him very much too. So
To our
I'm
dear
biased.
friend Mark Wilson, thank you. Point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Point.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So our very first guest and good friend Mark Wilson, they have been debating for 20 years who's better. Tobin's team Godzilla, Mark's team King Kong.
We've gotten a ski lift fight one time, and it was bad. There was a kid in between us. I think he was almost in tears by the time he got to the top of the hill. Yeah.
No way.
2 adults yelling at each other over
Arguing
Godzilla
over
and King Kong.
and
And
no,
you're like
I get
this
it.
like 8-year-old, like
You're like, can you please stop? No, I actually, can I say, above my door, my aunt made this for me. Above my door, I have, may Godzilla destroy this house last.
oh,
Whoa. Very cool.
My aunt made me that.
Okay.
another
That's my
Godzilla
new-
fan.
2 points, Godzilla.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck you, Mark.
I'm not going to tell him when this episode comes out. We'll just see if he listens to it by the sheer if we get a text.
My favorite is I have
Yeah.
these headphones on, so I don't know how loud I'm being in the actual bar, and
Doesn't
I just
matter.
feel like everybody's
no.
chatting,
We're
and
in
all of a
our
sudden,
home
like,
pub, yeah.
fuck you, Mark.
Exactly.
Really loud.
Some guy in the back is crying.
Yeah.
Some guy named Mark. It's like, he just told me fuck you, and I don't even know her.
All right, number 9. Finish this rap lyric with something fresh.
Okay.
Okay, this is a classic hip hop rap lyric. Mo money mo.
Problems.
No, but you gotta get something
Oh,
fresh.
I gotta do something else.
Fresh.
You said that. Okay.
Yeah.
More money, more fresh. Stupid.
Mo money, mo jail time.
Everything that's coming to my head is so inappropriate.
Go, please go.
Really?
Go
I
for it.
just this is so. All I want to say is more money, more pussy. It's all I want to say.
There you go.
There you go. We got
Really?
it.
Sorry, Mom.
That's the first time this was said on this show.
My mom always listens when I'm on podcasts. Sorry, Mom. Yeah.
Okay. I also
All
like
right.
more money, more fresh. That was pretty
More
funny.
money, more fresh.
Either one works. Okay.
So number 10, you kind of already gave it, but what is one piece of
So we
advice?
ask every guest
Yeah,
this question.
every guest. This
Oh,
is the same
cute.
It's a
guest.
closer question.
Yeah, close the question.
cute.
though. What is one piece of advice that you were given that you would like to take with you or take with us or whoever?
Oh, I have a really good answer for this. This is from my father. My father always said my whole life, never underestimate the influence you have over others.
Oh, okay.
And when I was growing up, I didn't really know what that meant, and now I've realized for my own whatever, like my best, like is that there have been times that you think something nice about somebody, and you should tell them because like there have been times that I've been like, oh, I love this, and then I found out later that really meant a lot to that person to be able to compliment them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so from that, I've been like, well, if you think something nice about somebody, then you should tell them. The worst case
I like that.
scenario,
Yeah.
worst case scenario is that they think that you're weird. The best case scenario is that you made their entire day.
Yeah.
So I think I may have mentioned this on the show before, but just because it's on point,
Yeah.
there's. I heard a quote that I really liked, and that was, we should be saying to people on their birthdays the thing we say about them at their funerals.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I feel like people are so, especially like, I don't know, this weird like social media generation is so obsessed with being cool. And
Yeah.
I'm so fucking sick of it. I want to be so emotional and I want to tell people, like, we should be lifting each other up as much as we can. So I do believe, and it goes back to my dad. He was like, you think that you don't know when you are making people's days. Like, you don't
Right.
don't underestimate your influence. And I think the best way to do that is the easiest way to do that is if you think something nice about it, somebody you have to tell them.
Yeah,
You have to. It is your obligation to tell them.
I like that. That's
That's
good
a
advice.
really good closing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye,
Yes.
girl.
All right,
Honestly,
so everybody still listening to this show, if you made it this far, say something nice to somebody.
Yes.
Like someone you don't normally say something
Exactly.
nice
Do it on the street. I do
Yeah.
it all the time where it's a stranger and I'm just like, oh, I like your scarf. And yeah, half
to.
the
Animals
time they...
included or just people?
Animals as well. They
Okay.
love it even more.
People or animals?
People
Just
or
say something nice to them.
animals. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Half-
not your cat, somebody else's cat.
Somebody else's cat. Your
Except for
cat's
Mark
not
and
enough.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Mark's an amazing person. Tartan
he is.
Coffee. Check it out. It's
Yes, that's
fantastic
true.
coffee.
That is the best.
And we'll close on that. Thank you so
Aw,
much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you for coming.
me.
Thanks to Garrison
Cheers.
for hosting us.
Thank you,
and-
Garrison.
Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome.
That was great. Yeah, very good. Thank you for listening to The Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you.